Okay, so this is the second part of the taxonomy questions. Um, hope once you've gone through these that you feel pretty good about uh, this content. None of these questions are like super complicated, super difficult, but they especially if you kind of do them systematically. So the diagram shows the taxonomic groups and major distinguishing characteristics of all but two of them. By now, what you've got is you should have is this chart here filled in. If you remember, we did this one about the different characteristics of all the major kingdoms. Okay, if you don't have that, it would be a good idea for you to get it done. So we start off. Remember, taxonomic groups is just like putting things. So we start off with prokaryote and eukaryote, and obviously prokaryote we've got our bacteria, and that's it. The eukaryotic we've got everything else. So this is split into, is it unicellular or multicellular? Well, if it can be both, there's only one kingdom really in this part that we're talking about, which is the protists. So let's move over to multicellular, okay? And I know the whole point is I've got to fill in these two boxes. I know whatever goes in this box here has to relate to plants only, right? Because I end up with plantae. And then whatever goes in this box here has to relate to, right? So kingdom of fungi, they do something called absorptive nutrition. Basically, they decompose, break down stuff, and then they absorb it into their bodies, okay? Animalia, we have something called ingestive. When you ingest something, you eat it. So animals eat their food. Fungi use enzymes to break it down and then absorb it. So let me look at my answer choices here. And the easiest way to do it is say, all right, what's relevant to plants? So are plants motile? Can they move? Right? Can they move? Do plants get up and move around? No, they don't, which means it can't be F. Okay, looking at G. Are they non-photosynthetic? Well, clearly that's incorrect because we know that plants, that's how they get their autotrophs. That's how they get their food. So, that can't be right. If I'm looking here, I just saw this one here. It said no nucleus. Well, the only things that have no nucleus are the prokaryotes. And plants clearly are eukaryotes, so obviously that's not right. Now, when I look at H, it says autotrophic. Are plants autotrophic? Do they make their own food? Yes, they do. So there's my right answer. And just to confirm that, this one says heterotrophic. Do let me refocus a minute. Do fungi and animals, do they make their own food? Consume? Yes, they do. So that's why that one's correct as well. So H was the correct answer. Looking at this question, this should be a real super easy question because I suspect you all remember seeing this before. Based on observations of the student, which organism most likely belonged to the group, the taxonomic group, bacteria? That is my magic word. If I see bacteria, what do I know about bacteria? Well, the first thing I know is they are the most distinguishing characteristic of all bacteria is they are prokaryotes. And when you are a prokaryote, you have the absence of a nucleus. Knowing that one piece of information, which of these are bacteria does it has a nucleus. It cannot be one. Organism 2, single cell, check, because they're all unicellular. No nucleus, check. Cell wall, check. Single celled, no nucleus, check. Single cell with a nucleus, no. So, which two are the bacteria? 2 and 3. Simple as that. Easy peasy. All right. Looking over here. Okay, so on this question here, the Linnaean system classifies organisms into divisions called taxa. Remember, taxa is nothing more complicated than a group. If two organisms belong to the same taxonomic group, they are related. Similarity at which of these levels indicates the closest relationship? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write, did King Philip come over for great sex? Okay? Because I know that these are the least, going down to here, these are the most related. Right? And so kingdom is here, class is here, which is more related than a kingdom because it's further down. Order is here, and genus is here. Which one is the most related? The lower down you go. So genus is the correct answer. Okay? All right. Looking here, a student wants to use a Venn diagram below to show the characteristics of two kingdoms of organisms. The characteristics that the two kingdoms share will be listed in the shaded area in the middle. Which of these characteristics? Okay. Are they both heterotrophic? Do plants eat? No, they don't. They are autotrophic. In fact, let's just go ahead and write auto there. So that one cannot be right. Are they mobile? Do plants get up and move around? No, they don't. Do fungus? Have you ever seen a mushroom getting up and moving around? No, you haven't. So that cannot be the correct right. If the word had been non-mobile, right, that would have gone in there. But so this one cannot be the right answer. Are plants and fungi prokaryotic? Are they bacteria? No, they're not. That cannot be the correct answer. Are they multicellular? Well, yes, we know all plants are multicellular. And we also know that mushrooms are also multicellular. So that is the only characteristic that they both have in common out of this list. That's why that's the correct answer. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Hope you're feeling good about these. Let's look at this one. Scientists around the world use a standardized taxonomic system. If it's standardized, it means it's all the same. Why is that all the same? Right? Why is that a good thing? Right? If you look here, this is a little question we've talked about. It avoids confusion. It means that if I'm talking about a buzzard in East Texas and I'm thinking of a vulture, and I'm talking about a buzzard anywhere else in the world, and I'm talking about a hawk-like predator, okay, I could be confused. But if I talk about, right, let me think of one, Canis familiaris, I'm talking about a dog, right? I'm talking about a domesticated dog. If I'm talking about Canis lupus, I'm talking about a wolf. Wolves are Canis lupus, whether you're in Canada, the United States, Russia, or anywhere else that wolves live. We use a standardized system so everybody's talking about the same thing, right? No confusion. Along the same lines, this is another similar question, okay? So you have this mountain lion called Puma concula. Remember, Puma is the genus name, concula is the species name. Okay, notice how it's in italics. Notice how it's in Latin. That means this is the standardized name. This is just within the United States. All of these are names given to this type of species, right? I have no clue what a Yuma Puma is. But a Yuma Puma in Florida is the Florida panther. In Wisconsin, it's the Wisconsin puma. And in Texas, it's the Texas panther. It's also a cougar, a mountain lion, and all sorts of other things. Right? So why do we use a standardized system? All right. Standardized name differentiates mountain lions from pumas. Standardized name is less descriptive. Communication with other scientists about mountain lions will be reduced, or all scientists are using one name for mountain lions. So if we have a conference about these animals, we're going to call it Puma concula, because all of these different names could get confusing. Okay, so we use a standardized system. It reduces confusion. Everybody's talking about the same thing. All right. Okay, here we go back to our characteristics. So I've got all of these things, and we're going to, again, we're telling the difference between a plant and a fungus, right? And because it's plants, okay, so alternation of generation, I don't know what that is. Mostly non-motor, yeah, I know. So they mostly don't move. They're eukaryotic. I'm good with that. They're photosynthetic. Okay, I know that one because I know that plants photosynthesize and fungi are heterotrophs. They don't, but they're consumers. And that's number 4. So I come here. So do plants photosynthesize? There is a check mark. That's good. Is there a check mark in the fungus? No, there's not. So that is also correct. Okay. I come down here. There's a check mark in both of them. There should only be a check mark in plants. That's wrong. Same up here. That's wrong. Same here. That's wrong. So literally, I can answer this question because I know plants photosynthesize and fungi do not photosynthesize. That's all I needed to know to get to my correct answer. Okay. Only a couple more here. So, looking at this one, I have 4 trees. Which 2 are most closely related? Oh, I've got these words. So here are. I'm gonna just did King Philip come over for great sex. Remember, the closer down here they get to, the more related. So I look at the names here, species. They're all different names, aren't they? So they're all in different species, right? Genus. They're all in different genii. Family. Different names. They're all in different families, right? Order. These 2 names here are the same, aren't they? So these 2 are in the same order. That means that those 2 are more related than any of the others. That's why that's the correct answer. That was easy, right? Look for the same name. Coming down here, last question. Taxonomic classification is important to marine biologists because I need to look at the information then. Organisms are classified today using the Linnaean system. The following table shows the taxonomic classification. So they're the same. We've got a common dolphin and a killer whale. They're both animals. They're both chordata. They're both vertebrata. They're both mammalia. That means they're both mammals. They're both cetacea. Right? They're both delphinidae. Okay. Now, here they're different. Notice how these names, if you look real carefully, can you see how these names here are in italics? So that's the genus, that's the species, which means that's the F and the O and the class and the phylum and the kingdom. Okay? So they're related at the family level. Right, taxonomic classification of marine biologists provides a way to prove that marine evolution occurs. Is there anything about evolution in there? Really not. Discover and name every marine organism. Designate Latin as the universal language in marine biology. Nobody actually speaks Latin anymore. Identify marine organisms and find evolutionary relationships. So could we use these to identify it? Yes, we can. Do we work out how they're related? Yes, we can. That was the correct answer. And also to avoid confusion. Okay, that is a run through of those questions.